And all you're trying to do is rescue the Quran from an error. And the way that you're rescuing the Quran from an error is by chucking it into another error. Look on some Islamic website. Which organ?
Listen, Bob, Allah is not talking about sperm. Simple.
It is not talking about water, and it says water here. What's that word?
Yeah, water.
There you go, water. Are human beings only made from water?
Yeah, it's part of the things that made.
No, that's not my question.
Okay.
Are they only made from water?
No. The Quran says some places that man is made from clay.
Clay.
Okay.
That's also wrong. Are we talking about more embryological errors in the Quran?
Yeah, like the sperm comes from the
Yeah. Where is it? Which surah?
He says sperm doesn't say that.
Where is the surah? Where is the surah?
The surah to Torah, go to 190.
190.
195.
That's what I'm reading.
Surah 195. There aren't.
No, 190. It's 95.
95.
I'm not sure. Let me look for it.
Is it 86, 6 to 7? 86, 6 to 7.
86, 6 to 7. Come and talk with me, bro. 86, 6 to 7.
So assuming it's alright, so read it.
Surah 86, 6 to 7. Let's have a look.
Basically, his claim is that everything Allah says in the Quran is true because there's no errors.
Of course, there is no errors. The Quran has no error, no contradiction like the Bible.
Okay, one second.
My friend here.
So let's just think about this logically. What's your name, sir?
Abdul.
Abdul. My name is Bod. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hope you have a lovely time here at the corner. Is it your first time at the corner?
I think my second time.
Second time at the corner. So let's just work through it together and think rationally. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says. So I'm going to read from verse 5. So let men see from what he is created.
Yes.
Right? So it's talking to men plural. That's all of us, isn't it?
Yes.
And he's saying that let them see from what he is created. So it's now going to go on to talk about what we're created from. Agreed?
Yes.
Right, okay. And then it says, he is created from a water gushing forth.
Exactly. So the guy was. Let me
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the guy was saying that the Quran is saying that sperm emanates from the backbone. I said that verse never mentioned sperm. Did you hear sperm there?
Yeah.
Let's address that.
Yeah. Let's address that.
Did you agree that there
No. Talk to me. Talk to me.
I want to correct him.
Talk to me, because I'm going to prove to you.
No, listen.
I'm going to prove to you the Quran's wrong.
I'm coming. I'll let you explain, but I want to address his point first before we.
How about we do it timed, so that we don't end up having an argument?
I want him to admit to his error before I come to you.
No. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Talk to me.
He was saying that.
So
What's the gushing fluid? No, I'm asking. What's the gushing fluid, please?
Did you hear sperm there?
No, doesn't say sperm. It doesn't say sperm.
The Quran says sperm comes from
Right. Hold on. Okay. So it doesn't. Don't bite, JC. I'm saying to you, Abdul. I'm saying to you that the Quran is in error here.
Why is it error?
I'm going to explain.
Okay.
Right. So it's talking about what man is created from.
Yes,
Now, just before we get into the text,
Yeah.
biologically speaking,
Yeah.
what is a human being created from biologically?
If you look at this, I'm not a doctor or scientific.
You don't need to be. You just need to have a
I'm
rudimentary
telling you
education
that
in embryology.
If you look at the process in which man is created from the sperm, if you look
From the sperm.
from the gushing fluid that we are.
Right, hold on one second.
The verse is talking about.
Right, one second. It's not water. It's not water.
Listen, this one.
It's not water.
Gushing fluid the Quran is talking about.
It's not water.
It emanates from the in between the backbone.
It's not water.
It's not contradictory.
You 1 second, Abdul. For this to be a conversation where we don't shout, you have to make a point. Then I have to make a point. Okay. But the thing is, if you just keep talking and you don't listen to anyone speaking to you, it'll just turn into a shouting match. Trust me, I've done this for 4 years. Now the thing is, you without any prompting from me said that man is created from sperm. Sperm, and to be full, an egg from a woman. which means that it's not water. What does a man ejaculate? Does he ejaculate water?
The verse is not talking about the sperm that is coming from.
No, that's not answering my question.
I'm answering your question.
Do men ejaculate water?
No, men ejaculate sperm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what does it say? He is created from a water gushing forth.
From and that is what I want to explain.
What is the gushing forth?
The gushing forth that Allah is talking about.
No, the gushing. I want to talk about gushing forth. What is gushing
it's not
forth?
What I'm going to say. Let me speak back.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
I said the gushing forth that Allah is talking about. It's not about the sperm that is coming from man's penis into the woman.
Right,
okay?
right.
This particular process.
Yeah.
I'm looking for so many tafsir there. They make a lot of tafsir about this.
Yeah.
This ayah. Even scientists believe that these gushing flows that is coming emanating from in between the ribs of a man.
So it's not
is the process in which this thing, what is it called? The sperm develop from the testes.
Right.
Okay?
So hold on one second.
It's not talking about the sperm that is coming from the penis.
One second.
Gushing.
One second. Where is it? There's no such thing as an internal gushing.
There is.
No, one second. One second. So wait. You wanted me to listen to you.
Yeah.
This means you now have to listen to me.
Yeah, listen to
Right. So listen then, because there is no such thing as an internal gushing forth. That doesn't happen. What is clearly being described here is the act of ejaculation.
No, that's not what.
That is the one second. One second. We're going to do a discussion, or are we going to do a shouting match? No, listen to me. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
You insisted that I listen to you, so you now have to listen to me because you're not listening. You're just trying to talk over me, and when people talk over me, I just raise my voice.
Okay, talk.
So.
When I'm
One sec. Yes, I will let you listen. Listen.
Yeah.
The idea that water is gushing forth from anywhere. One second. The idea that is gushing forth is an inaccurate description. Because at the best, it is secreting. Now, I'm just going to interrupt you continuously when you're talking. Now, in terms of the water, that also is false. Because the chemicals that are secreted by the body in the production of sperm are not water. The production of sperm is built up from many different chemicals, principal of which is carbon. So it isn't water that is creating sperm. There's no such thing as H2O creating sperm. So it's wrong there. It's also wrong if you're saying it's gushing, because it's not gushing, and a more accurate description would be secreting. And thirdly, I contend with you that what actually is being described here is the act of ejaculation. And in that case, it is also wrong, because sperm, and that which ejaculates, doesn't come from between the backbone and the ribs. Now, how would you like to reply to that?
I think what you are saying is absolutely false. You are putting
Go on.
your own. If this verse was talking about sperm, Allah would have mentioned sperm, because so many times sperm is mentioned in certain places when it's describing about human embryo.
Show me a verse. Show me a verse where it does that.
Allah talking about man creation, talking so many people.
Isn't it doing it here?
Let me talk, please.
But you interrupted me, remember?
I stopped interrupting you. I listened to
you. But the point is, when I talk again, you'll interrupt me. So the thing is, if you interrupt me, I interrupt you. Yes, you did.
But I stopped,
and it's on camera.
When I was interrupting, you told me I stopped. And I listened to you till you finish your listen.
Yeah.
I'm not
right. So now do you agree that interrupting is bad manners?
Yeah, of course.
So that when I talk next, will you interrupt me? Will you interrupt me when I talk next? Okay, carry on.
But I want you to understand, when I started interrupting you first, you remind me I stopped. You see? So this is what I'm saying. But I'm saying that this particular verse, if it was sperm God is talking about, he would have mentioned sperm there. So Allah never mentioned sperm there. So it is not about the sperm that is emanating from the man penis that Allah is talking about. This particular phenomenon Allah is talking about is different issue. It's talking about maybe your scientific knowledge is not great. That's why you still don't understand what Allah is talking about, because not everything scientists have come to know. You see, so this particular phenomenon Allah is talking about the fluid that is emanating in between the ribs and the backbone. And according to science, they say this process developed into develop later to become what do they call it? These testicles that we have that is producing sperm. That is, a man has to ejaculate into a woman for a child to be born. So I'm just saying that this particular verse is not talking about sperm. Okay,
can I reply to that?
It's not talking about sperm. So you can, if it was about sperm,
can I reply to
Surah Al-Qiyamah, Allah mentions sperm in somewhere about human creation, but He never talked.
Can I reply to that? Even if I take your argument seriously, and I'm going to give you a reason why I don't take your argument seriously, because just last week I had a debate with Mohammed Hijab. Look, you're interrupting again, so now I'll interrupt you. There you go, interrupting again. There you go, once again, interrupting. You're interrupting right now. So don't complain when I interrupt you.
I'm not interrupting.
There you go, interrupting once again. This is how conceited you are. You can't even acknowledge when you're interrupting, as you're doing right now. You're just doing it again. There you go again. Right, so
I'm just agreeing with you that I watched the debate with Muhammad Hijab.
So I had a debate last week with Mohammed Hijab in which he said that the Arabic principle is to describe it in the way that it appears, and that is the way that the Qur'an works. And he used that to try and justify other errors in the Qur'an. Notice your interruption again, because I'm going to interrupt you next and then you'll complain about it. Now, in terms of the Qur'an, if I take your argument seriously, your argument is that water is used to create sperm. The reality is that is false. Water secreting from any part of the body, from within the body here, between the ribs and the spine, isn't equivalent to sperm. And it isn't water. It's chemicals that the body uses throughout the entire system to build cells, of which water is a part, there's no denying that. However, the Qur'an is saying he is created from a water gushing forth. No water gushes forth from the internal system. The very description of gushing, if we think about what we would say if we describe, no, the Quran says water. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. It says what's that word there? What's that word there? What's that word there? What's that word there?
I said, yeah.
What does it say? Water, right. And is Arabic your first language?
No, it's not. But
so Arabic is not your first language. Are you paid as a translator? Are you paid? Right. So hold on. These are the people that translated water. 1 second, because you're interrupting. No, because you're interrupting. And he interrupted. So Dr. Mohammed, I'm replying to your interruption, so now I have to speak longer. Dr. Mohammed Taqi-ud-Din Al-Hilali and Dr. Mohammed Mushin Khan of Islamic University, Al-Madinah. These are Arabs speaking in Arabic in an Arabic university, and they translate it as water. So forgive me, I'm going to trust their translation over someone who's just admitted that he is not an Arabic speaker. Can you speak Arabic as a second language fluently? Not very fluid. So here you are, someone who by admission can't read or speak Arabic fluently, is arguing with two Muslim scholars who translate it as water, and that is a demonstration that the Quran has got its embryology wrong again. Because it's not water.
Okay, look at
it's a mixture of chemicals.
Look at it here. So I know this particular translation, they translate it into water. There are other translations, it's translated into fluid, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm saying that one is wrong. Those people are Arabic speakers.
The Quran gets its embryology wrong.
So that's what. Yes. No, I'm not saying that about the. I'm talking about the translation.
I'm
talking about the translation about the water, the gushing.
Well, why should we trust that translation over this one?
Look at the Arabic way.
Yeah.
So, no, that's not it.
1 second.
Which number is that? Tell me the number.
You've got it right there. That one.
Yeah. So this is it.
Yeah.
You see, fluid.
So what?
Fluid.
It says water here.
That's why I said some places they translate it as fluid.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
How do you're saying that this translation's wrong? I'm going to say that translation's wrong.
That's why I said the guy who translates this one is wrong. So we come to the.
Why is it wrong? Because it doesn't suit you to say water.
It's not water. Mimma.
Look,
Mimma.
Bro,
so
with this Arabic shuffle we've seen countless times.
Moya or this thing. It's not Arabic.
Is water a fluid?
If you look at it, it looks similar. Like
is water a fluid?
You can say yes, it is, but
okay. I guarantee this Arabic can be used to refer to water.
That's what there are different way of translating it. But I'm not even bothered about whether water or not.
I am having a problem with this.
Listen, I'm not even bothered whether it is this translation water or something. But this.
Well, let's talk about gushing. What does gushing mean to you?
What I'm saying.
Does it say gushing there as well?
Let me talk.
No, please. I want to see. Does it say gushing there in that translation?
Gushing forward.
No, I want to see. Does it say gushing in that translation? Because you don't like this translation because it makes the Qur'an look bad. Does it say gushing? Spurting. Right. Just think to me. I want to. Okay.
Let me address what you said.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
What you are just saying about you explain all this phenomenon how man is created, and I'm saying Allah is talking about the process in which I was not saying that water creates man or something. I'm talking about that process that leads to this sperm that is coming. That is the phenomenon Allah is talking about. He's not talking about water creating man, like you keep on water.
No, it's not me that says water. It's your Quranic translators that say water.
I said that process leads to the formation of because all water.
It's your Quranic translators that say water.
Included in sperm or not?
Right. Yes, water is in every human cell. In every human cell.
So it could be part of it. But I'm just debunking that.
One second, let's move the conversation forward because this one says gushing and that one says spurting. I challenge you, use accurately the idea of gushing or spurting in another sentence to refer to something else.
The argument was about this.
No, I want you to answer my question.
What do you say? Repeat the question.
You see, it does help if you actually listen in a conversation. I can tell you weren't listening. So use the word gushing or spurting in another sentence.
Why are you so concerned about gushing? I'm not talking about that.
Because the Qur'an is wrong, and I'll explain why. No, the Qur'an is wrong. The Qur'an is wrong.
That's why you keep
the Qur'an is wrong. Now notice that you're interrupting. Now, here's where the Qur'an is also wrong. Not only is it wrong about saying water, but it's also wrong about saying gushing or spurting forth. Because when we think about gushing or spurting,
how do you know?
when we say gushing or spurting, what do we think of? We think of things like blood was gushing out of his veins or the water was spurting out of the tap. That does not happen within the human body.
How do you know?
Because the word gushing and spurting is referring to an eruption from a sealed system.
Listen, that is what blood gush for your veins.
It flows through your veins.
Yeah,
it doesn't gush through. It doesn't spurt.
It's the same phenomenon.
And it doesn't.
It's the same phenomenon.
But
just putting your words in.
But
I also speak because you've been speaking when I've.
Yeah, but you're interrupting all the way through. You're also interrupting all the way through. I haven't finished my point.
No, you talk a lot. Let me.
No.
I will talk. Let me give.
Then we'll just talk over one another. Because I told you that this is how this would descend. If you just interrupted me, then I would interrupt you, and then we would interrupt one another, and then eventually what happens is I raise my voice, and I guarantee you won't. Yeah. Right, well, that's fine.
Okay.
So gushing forth.
Yeah.
It's clear that what it's talking about is the eruption of a liquid from somewhere. It's clearly describing ejaculation. It's not describing the secretion of
You are
any
lying.
chemicals
You are lying.
from the
You are
human
lying.
body to the
That's
human
not-
body.
that's not what the
So
Quran-
reply to the gushing bit.
The gushing that I'm saying that in your body, the gushing that Allah is talking about in the backbone, and it can happen in that way. It's just that you don't want to agree. You want to say that gushing cannot happen in human body. How
Yep.
do you know? It can.
Right.
It can. In your body, Allah is saying that He's created from a fluid gushing forward in between the backbone and the rib.
Right, so
Let me finish.
yeah,
Don't
you
interrupt
talked
me.
about no, you don't get to say that because you
Let
interrupted
me finish. You see, when you
consistently.
know that I'm going to make a point,
But you interrupted consistently, so
Now
you
we are-
can't
let me-
complain about interruption
Let me-
because you
let me finish
interrupted
this point.
consistently.
Let me finish it.
Gushing
So that
is
gushing-
not a description of
So you want
of
to say
what's happening
that is
inside
what-
the human
that
body.
is what Allah. If Allah mentioned, if it was sperm, Allah would have mentioned sperm, like what your brother said, which started the argument. I was dispelling, I was dismantling that idea that Allah is talking about sperm. This
Because
verse
it's
is not
based
talking
upon the
about
idea
sperm.
of
You are
ejaculation.
presuming- You are presuming.
So are you?
No.
Yes,
no,
you are.
No.
Yes, you
because
are.
This verse talk about.
You're reading into the text.
You are reading into the text because there's no sperm mentioned there.
There's no sperm mentioned there. It
So
mentions
you can
water
say-
and that is
you
wrong,
can
and it
say-
says gushing
you
and
can
that is
say-
wrong.
You can say, Bob, you can say, I can 100% say that Allah is not describing about sperm.
Right.
If it was, because so many places in the Quran, sperm is mentioned.
Yep.
So why if it is sperm, Allah is talking about, he would have mentioned sperm.
so now let's move the conversation on to the next error.
Okay, which error?
Which organ between the ribs and the backbone is secreting the water?
I'm not a scientist. Okay?
There isn't one.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not.
There
I don't
isn't
know. So what you are the question you are asking?
Shall
But
I-
what I'm saying
there
is
isn't
that
one.
you are not. You are layman on that. I'm coming. You are layman on that part as well. You are not scientist. You are not doctor. You don't have.
Neither
any
are
knowledge.
you.
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
But here you are trying to read
but-
science into the Quran.
I'm not. What did I read into this?
You're trying to say that the Quran is accurate,
I
and
said
you have no
because
reason
you-
to. We have no reason to assume
the
that.
question was, Bob, listen, let us be
Yeah.
genuine. The question was, he was saying that the verse is talking about sperm. Okay.
Because
And
it's talking about ejaculation.
Listen, it's not talking. Do you see ejaculation there?
Yeah, it's talking about gushing forth.
Gushing for you are presuming.
Would you agree that gushing forth is a fair description of ejaculation? Answer that question.
Listen, even that.
No, answer that question. Is it or isn't it? Is it or isn't it?
Human sperm.
Male ejaculation you could describe as gushing forth. Is that fair?
Of course, you can say.
Thank you.
You can
Yeah.
say it is gushing.
So what's
There's
more
a
like?
phenomenon with that one as well, because you don't have the knowledge to find out. So that doesn't
So
mean
what?
it's not true.
So what's more likely? What's more likely? That you've got other verses in the Quran,
Yeah.
like 24.
Let's stick here before. Don't go.
No, I'm gonna
let's
show you
stick here.
something.
What I'm saying,
I'm gonna show you
what
something.
I'm saying, Bob, what I'm saying,
Whatever helps you sleep at night,
what-
mate.
what-
Whatever
what
helps
I'm
you sleep
saying
at
is
night.
that you want to put your own twist into this thing by saying that the verse is talking about sperm, and I'm saying it's not talking about sperm because sperm is not mentioned there. If it was sperm, Allah would have mentioned sperm.
Right, hold on one
Okay,
second.
so-
I'm gonna show you that you're wrong.
Why am I
Right?
wrong?
I'm gonna show you. Come with me to Surah 23:12.
What did he say? Which surah?
Surah 23:12. Okay?
Christian, they like to put their words in.
A bit like your Dawah team does with the Bible.
No, the Bible
Yeah,
is full of
yeah.
contradiction. You can't deny
There
that.
you go.
yourself-
Perfect
you yourself
example.
admit that
Perfect
it's full of
example.
errors. You
No, I
admit-
haven't said that.
Come on, can
I
show
haven't
you the
said
clip.
that.
He came last week.
I haven't said that.
Surah what?
Whatever helps you sleep. You
Surah
know.
what?
So in terms of in
Surah
Surah
what?
23, I just want to make sure I'm sending you to the right place. Surah 23,
Verse,
right? You listening?
Yeah, verse what?
Okay.
Verse what?
I'm just give it. There we go. Ayah 13. Yeah. Thereafter we made him as nutfa, drops of male and female sexual discharge. Yeah, nutfa. Right? Now, let's look at what the Quran is talking about, because you say there's a verse in the Quran where it talks about sperm.
Yeah, there are so many places.
Can we see it, please?
Surah Al-Qiyamah is there.
Can we see one? Because
Let's do one
listen
at
to
one.
my argument.
No,
Listen to
let's
my
deal with
argument.
this
Listen
point
to
that
my
you made.
argument.
I said let's deal with
Listen
this
to
one,
my
then we
argument.
take it
Yeah, if you listen to my argument.
Okay.
Because if you allow the Quran to interpret itself, and you allow the ayahs of the Quran to interpret themselves, they're clearly talking about that which is ejaculated. in the embryology, and that's what the Qur'an is talking about in terms of these fluids. That's what the Qur'an is talking about. And so when it's saying in the Surah 84, was it 84 or 86, when it talks about the water,
It can refer to the egg.
when it talks about the water coming out of the, what was it? JC, was it 84 or 86?
6 to 8.
86, 6 to 8, yeah.
You already,
So when it talks
big
about, I'm just going to talk to the camera because he's not even listening.
Okay.
So when it talks about coming forth from water, gushing forth from fluid, if you allow the Quranic verses to interpret themselves, it's clearly talking about male ejaculation. That's what it's talking about.
You were talking about, what do you mean about the Surah 23? What is your point?
Because it's saying male sexual discharge. What is male sexual discharge if it's not male ejaculation?
Nutfa is a fluid.
Fluid, exactly right. Listen, and you said, when I pointed out to you the error in Surah 86 where it said he created from water, you said that means fluid. Right, so now we've agreed that the Quran is talking about male ejaculation. And the male ejaculation apparently comes from an organ somewhere between the spine and the ribs.
Did you hear any sperm mentioned in that verse?
Right,
So why
you
did
said fluid.
If it was sperm Allah is talking about, he would have mentioned sperm.
Allow the Quran to interpret itself.
Listen, that particular verse is not talking about sperm. You can put your twist in it.
All of the Quran, when it
You
talks
can.
about male sexual fluid, is talking about
It's
sperm.
not talking about sperm, okay? That particular verse is not talking about sperm. If it was
What
sperm,
is it talking about?
It's talking about that fluid.
Which
that
fluid?
Is coming in between man ribs and the backbone. It's not talking
There's
about
no
that.
such thing.
It's not talking about. There is. Absolutely. You are not what? Because you are not a scientist.
It says
you don't know
water,
how everything is
firstly.
going. We believe in
It says
it.
water.
We don't know that it's true. It's
It
true.
says,
How do you know?
and it says gushing, and there's no such.
Gushing,
It's
yes,
not
it's
gushing.
gushing.
And
How can you know it's
spurting
not
in
that?
your
Yes,
spurting.
it's that.
Which do you think is a more accurate?
it's true.
Which do you
Absolutely.
think is a more accurate?
Listen, you can
Which
put
do you
your
think?
twist.
Which do you think
you can put
is a
your
more
own words
accurate
into
use of the
into
word
verse.
gushing
If it
and
was
spurting?
If it was sperm,
Is it
Allah
the
talking
kind of
about-
secretion
Allah
that
mentions
happens
sperm
from
in
things
it,
like the
but
pancreas
verse does not
and
mention
from the
sperm,
kidneys?
So you are a big liar.
Is that gushing? Is that spurting? Or is it male ejaculation?
You
Could
are
that
all
be
lying.
accurately
If it was
described
sperm,
as
all
gushing
he's
and
talking
spurting?
about,
He's
he would have
talking to
mentioned
you
sperm
because
there.
I'm
Okay.
talking to you
No,
because he's
but you are
interrupting
talking to
me.
him as well,
Because
so
you
he
are
can agree with
interrupting
you.
me.
I said you can
So-
never. There is no way
so-
you can put your words in it.
So show me a verse in the Quran where it talks about sperm. Show me.
Okay, let me see. I'll look for it. It's gonna take
Is that the Hafs or the Wolf's Quran?
This is the Hafs Quran.
Which Quran do you read?
There is only one Quran, okay?
Yeah,
There
which
is only
one though?
one
Is it
Quran.
Hafs,
It's not the
Wash,
Bible, you have
Hafs,
so many
Wash,
Qurans.
Duri? Which Quran?
Wash is a kirat, okay? It's a
Oh,
big
it's a
We
kirat.
don't have different
And they're
versions.
identical,
Yeah,
word
there
for
is
word.
wash.
And
There is
That's
wash,
not true.
okay?
There are
There
differences
is
in
no
words.
difference.
Yes,
I'm not
there
saying
are.
that- listen,
But that's a
I'm
side
not saying
debate.
that there is no
That's a side debate.
differences in words, okay?
Thank you for
Okay,
admitting
I'm
that
not
there
saying
are
that.
differences
I say
in
it's
words.
A kirat, it's a recitation.
So if
About
we-
different
How about the
methods.
Quran?
There is only one
If we've
Quran.
got,
Tell your friend to
yeah, we're trying to talk about embryology. No, he can stand there.
Yeah, but
You didn't say that to the Muslim when he was doing that
No,
to
but they
me.
were not
You
doing
didn't
that.
say
They
that
were
to the
not
Muslim.
questioning
Yes, they were.
Okay.
This is the problem with Muslims in the corner, is that you're completely blind to your own behavior. So where in the Quran does it mention sperm?
Surah Al-Qiyamah.
Which number is that, please?
Can I get your Quran? See?
No, I'll hold it for you. You tell me where you want me to go. No, you can't hold my
If
Quran.
you don't want me to hold it, I will
Yeah,
hold it.
I'll hold my Quran. Where do you
can't
want
I
me to go?
hold
Because it's my Quran.
I know it's your Quran, but I'm
So
not taking
where
it
do you
away.
want me to go, and I'll
I'm not
go there
going
for you.
To be frank, it's going to take me to. I can't remember where exactly the verse where you can.
Why don't you Google it? It'll help.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Google it. Where does it mention sperm? Oh, we've done 86, 6 to 7. But he says it doesn't mention sperm. He's changing the.
What did I say? I said that verse does not mention sperm. That is absolutely.
So show me a verse where it
I'm trying.
mentions sperm.
I'm
Not fluid, not water, where it says sperm. The Arabic word for sperm, because we'll check it. We've got Arabic speakers. Have we got any hadiths connected to 86, 6 to 7?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, pull it up, see what it says.
That is the hadith.
Yeah, that's not talking about embryology though. We're talking about the production of the sperm.
That's all the supporting evidence from the hadith.
These are the sons of the loins, because the sperma of the man is held to proceed from the sulb of the man. What's the sulb? The sulb. Okay, here we go. Right. Can I borrow your phone? Right. Just while you're finding your passage, I'm going to talk to the camera, but please pay attention if you can. So a hadith, the Lane Lexicon.
What's the reference?
The Lane Lexicon referring to the sulb, says that the sulb is the lumbar portion of the loins and the back. So it's the lower part between the back and the ribs. And in Sahih International, let's have a look. Where is it? We had it a minute ago. It was the hadith bit where Muhammad said that it comes from the loins, the sperma.
Don't just go pick a hadith and start talking about it. We have science. Do you know science of hadith?
Yeah, I know your fake science about hadith.
So
yes.
you people like to just go and pick
Yeah,
any fabrication.
it would appear that Muslims just can't agree about what's sahih or what's not sahih.
You know that we know.
You Muslims have no agreement about what hadith to believe or not to believe.
Picking a hadith and talk about it.
Yeah. If it's sahih, we can use it. If Muslims have given it sahih, we can use it.
Can we really though?
Can we?
Can we really use it?
You can use
the hadith.
authentic hadith. I don't have.
Let's have we found a verse in the Quran that says so? Right. So in the absence of a verse that says sperm,
There is. I'm just.
well, I'm looking for what? I'm waiting for it. All we've got are verses in the Quran that say fluid or water, and it says that this is the thing that creates man. And the Quran says that in multiple places. But then it also says that this fluid or water that creates man comes from between the backbone and the ribs.
Which is taken from Galen, Aristotle and Hippocrates.
It's just wrong. The Quran is just wrong.
The Quran is you would have liked. The Quran stand of test. You can't find any error.
I literally just have right here.
That's your misunderstanding because you don't know anything.
So show me a verse in the Quran that says sperm.
Christian, you are Christian.
Show me a verse in the Quran that says sperm.
Apologists who go around, even if you see the truth,
show me a verse in the Quran that says sperm.
No matter how they explain to you, you will not buy it.
Show me a verse in the Quran that says sperm.
If you are sincere,
show me a verse in the Quran that says sperm.
If you are sincere, you will see that the Quran has no. But because
so you haven't got one.
You have an agenda to find an error.
And you haven't got an agenda.
Muslims has no agenda.
No Muslim has an agenda. No Muslim has an agenda.
Do you know why? Because everything
yes,
is
they've
clear.
got an
Every
agenda.
Human being who reasons
it's not
and
clear.
Follow this Christian
it's not
theology
clear at all.
And follow this Christian theology.
It's
just to
not
tell me
clear.
that man become a god is stupidness.
Shall I prove to you it's not clear?
What? What is not clear?
That Islam is not clear. That the Quran is not clear.
Islam is very clear about
Are you sure?
how to live your life.
Really?
What God is. What you and I listen. Let me finish. All what you and I are talking about is baseless. It's very clear that God is one. God make it very clear.
When can you have an abortion in Islam?
You see, God is when the baby, the soul is not. I think I can't remember, but I know this. I can think I will get it for you.
Yeah.
But it seems about
22 days.
If the
time of the heart.
Yeah. So,
but not all Muslims agree with that, do they?
It doesn't.
There are some Muslims that say it's later.
Listen.
Is that true?
I don't know about that. I never heard it.
Wait, you need to understand something here.
I'm not saying that everything that Muslims talk about, everybody agree. There are some.
But I thought it was clear.
There are some deviants. Muslims.
But I thought it was clear.
Listen, it's very clear. Even you see those who are disagreeing, they are deviants. Okay.
But who decides who's the deviant?
We follow that. That's why we follow the Sunnah, the Muhammad teaching and everything. When you follow that, you will never go astray. Okay. But those people there are some people who even reject the hadith. They are deviants. Okay. So.
But who says who's a deviant?
Who
has the authority to say who's a deviant?
Anyone who has the authority. anyone who does not take the Sunnah of Muhammad into consideration.
Yeah, but not all Muslims
and say-
agree
That's
with the
what I said, they are
Sunni
deviant.
position. So who has the authority to
Sunnah.
say that they're deviant?
Sunnah, Shia and all these Ahmadis, they are deviant people.
But on what grounds can you say that they're the deviant
Because
and you're not the deviant?
Because what they are following is not the teaching of Muhammad.
According to you,
According
but they
to
disagree
our
with you.
authentic sources.
According to you, but
According
they
to our
disagree with
You see,
you.
what we are talking about is baseless. Let's look for more.
You're right. You haven't, bro. Maybe you need to come back to me when you found a verse that says sperm. But you haven't found that yet. What we've got are verses that talk about water or fluid, and there is absolutely no way at all that you can say that the human being is created from a water or a fluid. It comes from a sperm cell. The Qur'an gets it wrong.
Is water not part of sperm?
What?
Water is it not part of sperm?
It's one of the ingredients of
So why
sperm.
are you dispelling it? Why are you dispelling
Because are human beings only made from water?
Yeah, it's part of the things that make
No,
human
that's not my
being.
question.
Okay.
Are they only made from water?
No, the Quran says some places that man is made from clay.
Clay.
Okay.
That's also wrong.
It's not, listen,
Man isn't made from
man
clay.
Is the first man, Adam. Even Christians believe that.
Some Christians take
So you don't
Genesis
believe
literally.
that.
Not all
You
Christians
know
take
Adam was not
literally.
made from clay, dust.
No, I don't believe that in a literal reading of Genesis.
So Adam was not made from dust.
I don't believe in
That's
a
what we
literal
Muslims
reading of
believe. The Quran
Genesis.
talk about the creation of Adam. The first human being.
Human
This is what I'm
beings-
talking about. Whereas when the Quran says human being is made from what?
The
And that
Quran
is talking about
gets
the
its
creation of
embryology
Adam.
wrong.
Okay.
Gets
You
its
are
embryology
heretic
wrong.
because you even admit that the Bible is wrong.
I'm not a heretic. There's been no ecumenical council about
You are
on the
heretic.
question.
I-
You don't even
I
know what a
even
heresy
why
is.
Christians has the audacity to question Muslim when your Bible is
You
full
don't
of
even know-
logic things.
You're saying clay.
Eh?
You're saying
Christian, you are hypocrites. Your Bible is full of errors. It's full of
Hypocrites? You don't even know what you're
come
talking
here to
about.
question. It's
You're
full of
using
scientific
words you
errors.
don't
If you
even
put the-
understand.
If you put the Christian,
What is a hypocrite?
The Bible,
Yeah.
the hypocrisy is somebody who see the truth. And I don't know.
I don't know is the
Listen,
most
listen,
honest words
listen,
that came
let me
out of
tell
your
you. I
mouth
said
just then.
my-
I don't know.
My definition of
Shall I tell you what hypocrisy is?
Let me tell you.
No, shall I
know
tell you what hypocrisy is? Because you need an
Hypocrisy is
education.
that when you
You need
like-
an education in the English language.
Yeah, English is not my first
exactly.
language.
So
okay?
let me
So don't tell me
educate.
that.
Yeah. So let me educate
Can
you
speak my language?
about my
Can you
first
speak my
language.
I make an effort to
You're
speak your
using
language. Can you
my first language and you're using it wrong.
I know the
Let
meaning of
me
hypocrisy.
Right. What's a
I mean,
hypocrite? What's a hypocrite?
A hypocrite is somebody who, when you doing something which is not right, and you want to challenge other people who are not doing something right as well. You are
That's not a hypocrite.
What is it? This
Shall
is
I
how
tell you?
understand.
Because you're an ignorant man. You're
You
as
are
ignorant
ignorant,
of
you
the
are
English
ignorant.
language as you are about embryology.
Do you know why I say you
So
are
in
hypocrite?
terms
Okay. Do you know why I say Christians are hypocrites?
of hypocrite, I'm trying to educate you now.
Do you know why I
in
say
terms
Christians are hypocrites?
in terms of
No,
a
can I
hypocrite?
explain why I
no.
said-
In terms
No, I'm
of
not listening.
in terms of what a hypocrite is, it comes from the Greek.
Yeah.
Comes from the Greek word Hippocrates.
Uh-huh.
A Hippocrates was a mask that was worn by actors on the stage to demonstrate that they were one kind of character or another kind of character. It's from this word Hippocrates that we get the word hypocrite, and what it means is to put on a fake front to pretend to be something that you are not.
That's what I said.
That is what a hypocrite
That's
is.
what I said.
That
I
is
said
not what you
when
said.
That
is not what you said.
My
You are
own
literally
language,
about to
language.
change what you
listen,
said.
My language, my original language, my mother tongue language, when we say hypocrite, is what I described to you. Okay, munafiki. Munafiki, my local language. So I'll try
So can we come back to this topic now?
But let me tell you, the reason why I said
No, let's come
Christians
back to
are
the topic.
hypocrites. The reason why I said,
Let's come back to the topic.
yeah, I'll come back.
So the
When you let me
topic
talk
is
about this.
the error in the Quran in
There's no error. I keep on
68,
telling you,
6 to 8.
there is no
It
error.
is an error in the Quran.
Okay, what?
Can you Google for me the organ that is being referred to here?
Can you
Google for me the
can you let
organ
me-
that's being referred to.
Can I ask you a question concerning your Bible? Is there scientific errors in the Bible or not?
Right. We're
No, can
sticking
you
to the
answer that
Quran. We're not
question?
changing the topic.
No, answer this question. That's
We're
what
not
I mean. You are hypocrite.
changing
because
the topic.
Your Bible is full of what?
We're not
Scientific
changing the
errors.
topic.
Your
You're
Bible
not
is,
changing
your
the topic.
Bible is full of scientific errors, and you come here to
Google
talk about
which
Muslim,
organ is being spoken about.
That's hypocrisy. Is
Which
it?
organ? Which organ?
Which one?
It says here that there is.
see. I
It
can
is
see the
saying.
sign.
It is saying. Proceeding from between the backbone and the rib. Proceeding from the backbone and the rib. Which organ is it talking about?
What do you understand?
Google it.
What do you understand by proceeding from backbone and between the backbone?
Means to come from.
Yeah. So
show me which organ.
I already told you I'm not.
Google it.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist.
Google
I
it.
don't know what
Google it. Which organ?
Okay. I don't know what the organ is. I'm not a scientist. I'm a layman. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
So don't ask me about things.
Which organ?
Okay. But what I want you to understand is that
which organ?
Allah is not talking
Google
about
it.
sperm. So you
look on some Islamic website. Which organ?
Listen. Bob, Allah is not talking about sperm. Simple. You can't.
It is not talking about water, and it says water here. What's that word?
Yeah, water.
There you go, water.
Water, not sperm.
And it doesn't happen.
Water, not sperm.
And it doesn't happen.
Agree to that.
There is no organ that gushes water around the body. Doesn't happen. The Qur'an is wrong.
The Quran never wrong.
It is wrong here.
Can never be wrong.
There is 0 organs that gush forth water around the body.
You don't have knowledge. Your knowledge is not great enough to understand.
My knowledge is sufficient to know that this is rubbish.
No, you are telling us.
You even A-level biology students know that this is cock and bull. Literally says water. Which organ gushes forth water inside the body?
You see, they know once.
Which surah is that? Which surah? Which surah?
Surah Al-Qiyamah.
Surah 1453.
You see it?
I'm going to show you another error in the Quran now.
You see? I found it for you.
Yeah, you've found me another error in the Quran.
So is this, ma'am? Okay,
you found me another error in the Quran.
Let's go to the...
Another error in the Quran.
Let's go to the...
Another error in the Quran. Another error in the Quran.
I keep on telling you, it's not talking about
1453.
Deceitful man.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Surah 1453.
Were there not once a sperm drop emitted? You
right,
now
listen.
Allah is talking about that phenomena.
Listen. Right? 14. Surah 1453. Sorry.
Surah Al-Qiyamah. Go and look for it.
1453.
Is it? Okay, let's go to that surah, that 85 surah. And you see
Are you sure it's 1453?
Surah Al-Qiyamah.
What number is it, please? Because there is no 1453 in this Quran.
75.
Oh, 7553.
No, 37. 75, 37.
75, 37. Okay.
Nutfa is sperm.
Nutfa is sperm. Did you get that?
Nutfa is sperm.
Nutfa is sperm, which I think is actually wrong. I think he's got that wrong. So 7553. Let's come to this. 1 second.
No, not
money. 75.
Sorry, let me correct myself. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're not an Arabic speaker. We know that.
Money.
Surah 7553. Yeah.
Look at it. You see the sperm there.
Right. Hold on. There is no 53 in 75.
I said 75, 37. You don't see.
75. 37. Sorry. Right. Okay. Here we go. Right. And it says this. So we'll read from 36. Does man think that he will be neglected? That's all it says there. Was he not a nutfa of semen emitted? Right. Nutfa is actually a mixed male and female discharge.
Now you are looking at it and here you are ignoring it.
Is he not a nutfa of semen emitted or poured forth? In brackets they've put here. Now what did it say in 86 again?
No, listen.
1 second. What does it say? Look. This is your verse.
Wait.
I will just have to raise my voice.
You are a liar. You are a
because the gentleman does not want to listen.
Let's deal with this.
Listen. Let me make my point. Let me make my point. What does it say? It says, was he not a nutfa of semen emitted? And then the scholars put, what are those words?
Read it.
Pour forward.
Poured forth. And what does it say in 86?
Yes.
It says, 86, 6 to, he was created from a water gushing forth.
So what's your point?
Poured forth gushing forth.
So what's the point?
If you allow the Qur'an to interpret itself, it's talking about ejaculation.
Bob, you are not truthful. You are deceitful. When he said in that particular verse,
What's it saying here?
When he
Poured
said-
forth.
no,
What's it saying here? Gushing forth.
Of course, that clue that Allah is talking about can gush for it. I already told you that.
So-
It can gush for it. He's
so-
not talking, Allah did not mention sperm then, but He mentioned. You were telling me look for the
So,
sperm.
yes,
look for
yes,
it for you.
exactly.
And now you find it.
Exactly, and it
Why?
proves the point
Why?
that I'm making.
You didn't prove any point. You are
Yes,
lying.
yes.
I want to agree that
Yes.
verse is not talking about sperm.
Yes.
Because I find you
What I'm saying is,
why Allah is not using
you,
sperm.
what you're saying, what I'm saying to you is
are
if
a
you
liar.
allow
You are a big
the
liar.
Quran to interpret itself, rather than what you're doing.
What am I doing?
What you're doing is you're trying to free the Quran from an error.
Listen.
That's what you're
the
trying to
verse-
do. You're trying to free the Quran from an
You
error.
are deceitful, you are dishonest, you are disingenuous.
It literally, my whole argument throughout
What
was
was
that
your
the Quran he uses many different words to talk about the mixing of male and female ejaculative fluids, which in itself is an error because women don't create through an ejaculated fluid. Doesn't say that.
He doesn't want
Doesn't
to
say that. Firstly,
You don't
stop
want to
pushing me.
listen.
Stop
but
pushing me.
listen to me, man. Stop talking.
Pushing me.
You are not taking.
So here's what
man
it
alone. You are
says.
taking the
So then you
conversation
went
man
to a
alone.
verse that talked about the nutfa
Not is this
of semen emitted.
Yeah,
right?
That's the verse in the one you are talking. Surah.
Now, can we pull up your translation again? Your preferred translation, because there was an error
I
there.
don't mind whether we can use this one or I don't.
Oh
care.
no, now he wants to use this one. He wasn't happy to use it when it said water. He wanted to say fluid because he had a different translation.
I said you can
Pull
use-
up your
I said
translation
you
because
can
there's
use
an
fluid
error there.
or water. I don't
And this
care.
Quran is hiding that error. It says a drop, doesn't it?
Bob,
A drop of
you are
semen.
taking- you are-
Does
you
it
are
say a
taking
drop
over
of
the
semen?
argument. You
Pull
don't
out
want
your
to-
translation.
Okay, can I
Pull
speak?
it out.
Can I speak? Can I speak? Please?
Pull it out.
Can I speak?
Why are you frightened?
Can I speak?
You were happy with that translation a minute
Can
ago.
I say something?
Pull it out.
The argument I was putting forth is that particular verse is not talking about sperm.
And I disagree with
and
you.
I said, even when you are saying that because the word gushing for it is used in Allah, you are presuming that it's talking about
That's
sperm.
a description
And
of ejaculation.
And I said you are wrong. That particular phenomenon that you are talking, it can happen in other like that. No, let me.
Where?
Don't interrupt.
Where?
Don't interrupt. Let me
You
speak.
can't say don't interrupt. You've been interrupting me
Because you don't want me to
continuously.
make my point. Because
You have been interrupting me
you don't want to
continuously.
make my point because it's not-
Where
The verse-
does it happen that water is gushed around the human body?
Because you don't have the knowledge to find out.
Well, show me then.
I'm a
Just
layman.
Google it.
I don't have the knowledge. So I don't
Find me the organ that gushes
The verse
water
is not
out.
talking about sex. Because if you
Yeah,
and you tell me
it's called
you
a
told-
tap.
You told me that I should find you a
And what's the
which is-
closest thing that a man has to a tap?
You lie because your religion
I'm
is
not
full of
lying.
that. It's full of
I'm
mockery Christianity.
exposing the
You are
errors
exposing
in
your
your
Christianity.
Quran.
That's why I call you hypocrite in the first
I'm
place.
exposing
Because
the errors in your
the Bible
Quran.
is full of scientific errors.
There is no organ that
You-
gushes water around the human body.
Yeah.
There's no organ that
the
gushes
Bible,
water around the human
Bible
body.
is full of contradictions.
The-
It's full of scientific. But you have the gas to
there's
come here
no
to question the
organ-
Quran, which is perfect.
There's no organ that gushes water around the
You
body.
keep on sticking to the gushing.
Not
for it.
one.
You were telling me to show you.
Show
a verse.
me.
I show you a verse which is talking about sperm.
And it helps my argument. And it helps my
Why
argument.
does it help you?
I'm going to
Did you
explain.
find the sperm or not?
I'm going to explain. I'm going to
Bob, I'm wasting
explain.
my time talking to you because I know you are.
Well, you still stood here.
You are a
So,
dishonest person.
this is why it helps my argument.
Why is it help you?
I'm going to explain.
I will listen. That's
Yes,
what I'm talking
right.
about.
So listen.
Okay.
So listen.
Okay.
Because we have multiple verses. So I'll just go through the entirety of my argument so we can see what
I'm
I
gonna
mean.
listen to you attentively. When I'm speaking, I want you to listen.
Okay, I can do that, but let's see if you can just once in this poor conversation. There you go, interrupting again. So he's not listening. He's not listening.
Okay, I'm listening.
Listen.
Okay.
So in Surah 23, Ayah 13, it reads,
Yeah.
thereafter we made him,
Yeah.
the offspring of Adam,
Yeah.
as a nutfa,
Yeah.
mixed drops of male and female sexual
Which is perfect.
discharge. Everybody say discharge.
Discharge.
Right. Discharge. I haven't finished. Oh, look, he's interrupting.
Because you are-
He's
why are you
interrupting.
telling them-
So he can't complain when I interrupt him. So then it says in Surah 75, Ayah 37, it says
What does it say?
that was he not a nutfa of semen emitted, poured forth.
Okay,
So listen to the common theme in all of these verses. Gushing, poured forth, emanating. And then in Surah 86, 1 to 6, it talks about, which is an error in itself, the idea that he was created from a water gushing forth. Right? So the Qur'an, if allowed to interpret itself, is talking about the male ejaculation. That is what he's talking about. And it's talking about that the substance, if we just forget water and we say it's fluid so he can be happy, it's saying that that substance is created from proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs.
Seems legit, Bob.
Human semen does not emanate between the backbone and the ribs. Now, if I allow his argument, and I isolate this verse from other verses in the Quran, and I accept that it isn't talking about semen.
MashaAllah, that's what I want to hear.
If I accept that argument, now notice he's interrupting, so he can't complain when I interrupt him. Then where is the organ that gushes water around the human body? Tell me what organ that is.
Okay, can I speak?
It doesn't exist.
Can I speak
He
now?
does.
So the Quran is wrong either way.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So you agree that that particular verse does not mention sperm there. You agree? Okay. But
No, I don't agree.
You just say you agree that.
No, I said if I allow the argument.
But we look at it. Did you find sperm there?
The word sperm doesn't have to be there.
Then exactly.
It doesn't have to be there because it's not in other places. But you accept it's talking about sperm in other places. But it doesn't say sperm in other places. So it doesn't have to say sperm all the time.
I'll show you a verse which mentions sperm clearly to you.
Yes.
And you agree that it's talking about. So you were just telling me, look for that verse. Look for that verse.
To make a point.
And I find it for you.
Yes.
And I'm not denying that particular place. Allah is talking about how he's talking about sperm emanating from man's sexual organs. Okay? But that particular, this verse in 85 is not talking about sperm. Your problem is because of the gushing for it. You are saying that only sperm gush for it. Okay? That particular fluid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, there is no organ in the human body where that kind of phenomenon can take place. And I'm saying that you don't know because you are a layman. You don't know. I see.
Well, find me the organ.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't know anything.
There is no organ in the human body that gushes forth water into the human body. It doesn't happen.
You cannot put this particular. I just proved my point to you that particular verse is not talking about sperm. No matter, you can go around with your fellow Christians, put your lies in it. Muslims will always come and dismantle it and prove you wrong, just like what I did, because I proved to you that that particular verse is not talking about sperm. Period. You can't put your verse, your presumption into it.
And all you're trying to do is rescue the Quran from an error. And the way that you're rescuing, the Quran from an error is by chucking it into another error. That's all you've achieved.
Your argument,
you've just replaced one error with another error.
The Bible is full of mistakes.
Okay.
You use yourself.
Abdul, we're repeating ourselves now.
No, you admit it.
No.
With your conversation with
Abdul,
Muhammad
you hear what you want to hear.
The Bible is full of errors.
No, I didn't say that.
You said that.
Show me the clip. Show me the clip. Find it me. Find me where I say. That's what I want to hear. He's going to show me a clip where I say the Bible is full of errors.
Yeah, you say.
Show me that. Show me where I say that. Show me that. Show me that. Show me. Show me where I say the Bible is full of errors. Show me.
The Bible.
Show me.
It's not perfect.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
The Bible is not perfect.
And what else did I say in that discussion?
It's full of errors.
Shall I tell you what? Okay. Abdul.
I'll show you.
Abdul.
I'll show you.
I'm done talking to you now.
I'm showing you.
I'm done talking.
Yeah.
Find that clip where I say the Bible is full of errors, which is what you said.
You didn't use the word error.
Oh, I didn't.
You said perfect.
Ah! So when I point something out in the Quran, he goes, show me the words. But then when I say, the Bible is not perfect,
Yeah,
but
exactly,
then
that's
qualify that by saying that I believe every verse of the Bible is true,
That's what
but
you said.
not,
You believe that.
not
You said the Bible is not perfect.
scientifically a textbook.
You did say the Bible is not
He
perfect.
ignores that. So,
You did say the Bible is not perfect.
Abdul,
It's not perfect. It's full of errors, isn't it?
Abdul,
That's what
no,
you said.
that's not true.
That's true.
Your logic doesn't work,
It's
Abdul.
not perfect. It's errors.
Your logic does not work, Abdul.
Come on.
Your
Do
logic
you want me
does
to
not
you want
work.
me that there's no need of
Your
showing you?
logic does
Oh,
not
you want me
work,
to that? I
Abdul.
don't need to show you again.
Your logic
you
does
said
not
the Bible
work,
is not
Abdul.
perfect.
But what you haven't
I was
heard,
paraphrasing.
what you haven't heard, what you haven't heard
What is
in the very same debate
come on.
that you're misquoting, I said to Muhammad Hijab that every word of the Bible is true.
No.
Every word of the Bible is true. But if you take a scientific paradigm and impose it upon the Bible, of course the Bible won't match a scientific
Because
paradigm
it's- yeah.
because it's not a scientific textbook. I haven't changed my
Yeah, you
position.
follow something that
If you take the Bible
That makes
and
you
you
a hypocrite
impose upon
to
it
come here.
a biological
to come
paradigm,
here and talk
it
about
won't
errors in
meet
Quran. When
a
you say that
biological paradigm.
Your Bible is full of errors.
But your Quran,
You are not a
Abdul,
hypocrite.
says
Stop that.
that if it was from any other than Allah,
You find-
they would find many contradictions
Yes.
in it.
Yes.
And we have found contradictions
find anything.
in the Quran.
You didn't find
That is
anything.
what we found.
You didn't find anything.
Now,
That's why you are putting your words
Abdul,
in nothing.
Abdul,
Yes.
let's end the conversation.
Yes.
It was nice
Nice
to
to
talk
talk
to
to
you.
you, man.
I want to give you a gift, Abdul.
What I give
I want to give you a gift.
If it is any Christian thing, just hold your tongue on me.
I want to give you a gift.
Okay, give me.
This is a
I'll
gift
take
for
it.
you.
I hope you will be guided to Islam.
I hope you will be guided to the Christian faith, my
No,
friend.
no, no. Why would I leave a perfect?
This is the story of a Jewish woman who became a Christian, and she explains her reasons why. This
So
is
you
for
want me
you.
to read?
It's a gift. It's a gift.
Are you
gonna read
but
it?
Yeah.
I don't, anyway, she was
a
already,
gift.
she was
She was a
already-
Jewish woman who became a Christian.
Listen to what I'm saying. I
Read
said
her story.
She was already in the wrong place. She was already in the wrong path.
Read- that's
and
fine.
she joined
That's
the
whatever
wrong
you
path
believe.
again.
So
I don't-
have a read of it.
I would have like.
Have
She
a
was
read.
already wrong.
Have a read. It's a gift
I don't
to you.
believe in
Have a read of it. It's a
I
gift
don't
to you.
believe
She
in it.
explains her reasons why she becomes a
I
Christian.
dispel it.
Okay.
There's no error in Quran.
There
Look
are
at
errors
the
in the
Quran
Quran.
and
Absolutely.
with open
Thank
eye
you,
you
Abdul.
find it.
Take care. I hope you become a Christian, Abdul.
Oh,
I really.
What is so special about
So,
Christianity for me to join?
Ladies and gentlemen, what we saw in our discussion with Abdul, let's move away a bit from Kay. So what we saw in our discussion with Abdul is that Muslims are having to free the Quran from an error. If you allow the Quran to interpret itself in multiple places, it talks in a non-amazing sense of male and female sexual fluids being the source of mankind being created by Allah. And it identifies what this source is, where it comes from, coming from the backbone and the ribs. Now, I don't know of the organ that gushes and spurts, to use Abdul's own translation, water or any other kind of fluid other than the male penis. So it's clearly talking about male ejaculation. And it's talking, again, it's nothing amazing. I mean, this is stuff we all know. But it's saying that the source of it is from between the backbone and the ribs.
That's wrong.
And that is an error. And Abdul's defense is, well, the word sperm doesn't get used there. Well, gee whiz, there's lots of other places where it talks about the male ejaculated fluid, but never uses the word sperm. So this isn't a defense. Allow the Quran to interpret itself, and what you've got is another example of bad embryology in the Quran.